Hi, my name is Ingrid Naschwitz, and just to start off with, I'd like to pay my respects to the local traditional owners of this land, the Kombumerri people. I'm a master's student at James Cook University in Townsville, and together with Jacqui and Matt Curnock, we've been researching the social acceptance of different reef initiatives. Reef initiatives have been used to protect and manage the Great Barrier Reef for a number of years, but threats like climate change and predators mean that these initiatives are becoming increasingly necessary and also increasingly innovative. We're seeing ideas like cloud brightening and also assisted coral adaptation alongside the other long-standing initiatives. The success of these initiatives partly depends on how they're seen in the public eye and their acceptability. So the question that we wanted to answer was what elements predict the social acceptance for different types of reef initiatives? And further to that, what can we learn by applying the concepts of the well-studied social licence to operate? We use data from the 2023 CSIRO Social and Economic Long-Term Monitoring Program, which Matt is going to talk about later today. There's a question in the survey about the importance of different initiatives, and we ran a factor analysis on these results in order to meaningfully categorise these initiative types. We found 3 significant factors which we deemed representative of scientific, regulatory and community stewardship initiatives. We then ran regression analyses to compare these to a list of predictors inspired by social acceptance literature, where social licence to operate typically finds trust, distributional fairness and procedural fairness to be important. We included threat perceptions because the Reef Restoration Adaptation Program has found them to be influential in support of scientific initiatives. And we also tested a number of empirical reef values. These are our results. Down the left-hand side, you can see our list of tested predictors, and across the top are 3 initiative types. In purple, we have our positive significant relationships, and orange are the negative. So you can see a bit of colour on there, so we did find a bunch of significant relationships for them. And then I'll just show you this in a slightly more interpretable format. So we've got a Venn diagram. Each of the 3 circles represents a different initiative, and within them are the significant predictors of support. This was the first study that compared the social acceptance for different types of reef initiatives. And you can see that there are a few predictors that are shared, but there's also a lot that's quite different. So firstly, looking at scientific initiatives, these had the most in common with the social licence to operate, being that both trust and procedural fairness were important. And more specifically, it was the elements of procedural fairness relating to agency or direct involvement of the public. For regulatory initiatives, they also had procedural fairness being important, but for them it was the indirect elements, specifically transparency. And then the greatest departure from social licence to operate was community stewardship, which was largely driven by values. We believe these differences are due to the different natures of these initiatives and also seem to reflect the perceived levels of risk for these different initiative types. Also, in the middle of the diagram, you can see there's 2 predictors there, and they are the perception of climate change as a threat and also place identity, whether people identify with the Great Barrier Reef. So we found that threats and values were important for social acceptance of reef initiatives where these are not featured in the social licence to operate models. Which we believe highlights the difference between natural resource management and extractive resource use. So there's 2 key takeaway points that I would like to leave you with, and they were that the social acceptance predictors for reef initiatives have some similarities with social licence to operate, but there's also some key differences, and that they do differ depending on initiative type. So future research should consider a wide range of predictors in order to collectively describe the social acceptance for different reef initiatives in the Great Barrier Reef. Thank you.